Welcome to another episode of Inquirerrachel, and today we're going to cover chapter one of Atomic Habits. This book that we're reading, I hope everyone's following along. Disclaimer: I am going to be taking some parts from the chapter, from the book. It may be quotes, it may not be, and just kind of what I think about it and what's happening right now. Okay, so here we go. In chapter one of Atomic Habits, James Clear starts off by speaking about British cycling and their 1% strategy. The governing body for the professional cycling team, they basically hired a new performance director named Dave Brailsford, who started making new changes to the team just to help improve their performance. Dave had a strategy that he called the aggregation of marginal gains, where he's basically looking for that 1% change to help improve the performance of his cyclists, whether it be something internal, external, anywhere and everywhere. That's what he's looking for. Some of the small adjustments that Mr. Brailsford made was using rubbing alcohol for a better grip while riding, using the indoor suits outdoor because he found that it was lighter and it improved aerodynamics. They tested different massage oils just to see which one speeds up muscle recovery. And then he brought in a surgeon to help the team properly learn how to wash their hands to help reduce any risks of them getting sick or getting any type of infections. Just to tell you how these marginal gains made a difference, we have to look at the history of British cycling versus the gains. So, 110 years ago, no British cyclers ever won the Tour de France. And in 1908, British road cyclists only won one gold medal in the Olympic Games. Implementing the marginal gains and 1% changes really paid off over the years. In the 2008 Olympic Games, British cycling, sorry, won 60% of the gold medals. 4 years after that, in the Olympic Games in London, the Brits set the record for the most world records. And a few years after that, a few British cyclists over the years won the Tour de France. So all these little changes paid off. So as humans, we put pressure on ourselves to make big differences in our lives in short periods of time. We want quick results. People want to make changes and they want to see results right away. But unfortunately, that's really not how life works. James Clear says small changes will pay off over time. Making that 1% change is not something that is noticeable, but it will pay off and give results maybe over months and over years. Here's another great quote from the book: Success is a product of daily habits, not once in a lifetime transformations. Now, James has two other basically terms in the book, which he calls the valley of disappointment and the plateau of latent potential. So think about it this way: it's, say you're working out, which we're all trying to do. It's January, right? We're all trying to work out. We're trying to get healthy. This is what we're trying to do. Um, and you're working out, you're working out, you're working out. So you're working out for 3 to 6 months and you're making little changes or you're making big changes, right? And you don't see any improvements. You're like, "Oh my god, I'm eating differently. I'm I don't know, working out 5 times a week and I don't see any improvements." Now you're disappointed. Now you feel like you're stagnant, nothing's happening, you're not moving on, you're not gaining, I mean, sorry, you're not losing any weight or anything of that nature. So now you're disappointed, so you don't want to work out anymore. Why am I doing this? And that stop after getting the disappointment, now you've plateaued. Now nothing's happening and you're just, okay, so what am I doing wrong? How can I do better? And here is where you have to break through that plateau and continue. But you also have to change the end goal, right? Your end goal is to lose weight. So it's, this is part of it. But how you get there is the most important part of it. You have to change your system, which is the way that you get to the goal. What can you change? What can you make different in your routine to help with these goals? And you basically have to change this, what he calls the system or the strategy. So James Clear believes that we can all work towards a goal, but it's not the goal that's the problem, it's how we get there. The system that we have in place. Systems, he says, is processes that leads to results. It's all about building a routine so that way you can accomplish your goal. Name of the book is Atomic Habits. So let's say, what is the definition? And I apologize, I'm going to be reading for this one a little bit. According to James Clear, the atomic habit refers to the tiny change, a marginal gain, a 1% improvement, just as atoms are the building blocks of molecules. Atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results. Atomic habits are regular practice or routine that is not only small but and easy to do, but also a source of incredible power, a component of the system of compound growth. Sorry, I had to read that word for word. I How do I relate to this first chapter? This is me in a nutshell, right? I always start working out. I always start eating better, and I after like 2 months, I'm like, oh, this is not working. So I'm going back to my bad habits, which are my old habits. The whole point of this book is to try to build better habits. So I got to take the 1% gain. What can I do to change my routine? I could tell you this. I started cooking like 1 or 2 meals for the week. So that way I have home cooked meals instead of eating out. I also started walking. So I used to be like someone that works out a lot when I was much younger, but now things are different. Things are a little different. So I started wanting to work out for an hour and do weights and do kettlebell and all of that stuff. Yeah, I can do Pilates, blah blah blah. But now I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk for 45 minutes, maybe 3 times a week. Let's implement that, something that's doable into my schedule that I'm not going to be dying or super sore after. And I could probably improve on those after a while, but that's my small changes. Walking a couple times a week and cooking food for myself. What is yours? What's going to be your changes um as we go through this book? How are you going to implement that 1% marginal gain? What are you going to do to help improve your life or your work life or your home life, your personal life, your workout life, your eating healthy life, your not spending life? What are you going to do to help with those minor improvements? Because everything that I just said, I loved how it shows that yes, these little changes are progression, and then it helps you to achieve your goal. Changing your system and what you're doing, because I'm definitely guilty of that too, right? I have done so many things where I'm just like, "Bro, I don't ever lose weight. I don't understand what's wrong with me." But now I know it's not the fact that I haven't reached my goal or I don't want to reach my goal. It's literally how I'm getting there. That's the problem. So now it's time for change. And that's basically what chapter one is telling us. So there we have it. Chapter one, my summary of it from reading the book. Everyone reads the same thing and may get a different um, perspective. But that was my perspective. So thank you so much for watching. And you know what? We'll see you next week for chapter two on Inquirer Rochelle. Take care.